who've actually managed to join us live for this very special first event of 2016. As I mentioned in the newsletter, I've got a really deep pull to focus on the not only the exploration of the building, the reclamation of the facets and elements of the sacred feminine within our lives. So this is going to be a real focus for this year, and Bunny and I are also busy putting together a program at the moment which will be a lot more in-depth and intense in respect of working with the goddess archetypes of the sacred feminine energy pool, and that's going to be a 6-week program starting at the end of February. So there's some really exciting stuff going on, and I was really connecting with this essence of the Great Mother in the last couple of weeks, or couple of days I should say, and it's been really fascinating. So I want to run you through some of the aspects, some of the wisdom, some of the ways of looking at the Great Mother and understanding this energy. When we talk about the Great Mother, it's an archetypal, very primal in fact, energy that runs through us as human beings, as individuals, as part and parcel of the whole. And she has a very specific role to play in respect of us reclaiming, embodying, and holding firm within that sacred feminine framework, and helping to anchor and bring that into being on the planet. You know, we are far from the total embodiment. The sacred feminine may have returned energetically, but our job now is to actually embody her and embody those energies, those streams of frequencies as deeply as possible so that we can express those on the planet for the benefit of all. So let's first have a look at the aspects of today. Today was chosen because it's a gap day. Most of you by now are familiar with the gap day lingo and the gap day essence, and that these are particular days within the Tzolk'in Mayan calendar that actually give us an opportunity for amplified energy, for greater communion with the cosmic energy flows into the planet. So it's a day or a window in time when heaven and earth, if you like, are closer together. So it's just a really powerful concept. And that it is interesting because I was feeling the energy today quite substantially. And today is classified as the blue cosmic storm. Now, also just talking about the Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar, I just also want to let you know that I'm talking with Mariela Maya at the moment, whose website I always link to. It's the Mayan Kin website. And Mariela and I are going to look at putting together just a brief, possibly a 2-part joint program to give you a beautiful introduction to all of the elements of the Tzolk'in calendar, so that you have a deeper, richer understanding of what each of the glyphs and the icons and the energies actually represent. So I'm really excited about that. That's probably going to come in April. So, the energies of today, may the energy of the blue storm help me to accept change and chaos necessary for transformation and self-generation to occur. And this language was just so appropriate for the link with the Great Mother, because the Great Mother energy is a self-generating energy, and she is and brings to us the energy of and for transformation. So there was just a major alignment with this whole concept right from the time that the day was chosen. And the essence of the Great Mother kicking off this dive into the sacred feminine. I am guided by the power of abundance. Oh, June noted, yes, how appropriate to have your storm there as well. Yes, yeah, storm that is playing out in the background as we go through this process and take this journey. Which is true. We have an absolute abundance of rain at the moment. So yeah, I'm guided by the power of abundance. And now this I picked out, and I thought this quite fascinating, that the cosmic tone for today is cosmic tone 13, which is about transcending and expanding presence. And this is also very, very appropriate, because one of the aspects of the Great Mother is to balance the polarities that she brings to us. I mean, each of the goddess or sacred feminine archetypes has a polarity, a shadow, as well as a gift aspect in relation to the frequencies. The Great Mother balances all within her womb in the darkness. It's the darkness, the void of the nothingness and the everything. So there's a great element and aspects of that balancing that she brings to the party. And when I was actually looking at some images for the archetypes of the Great Mother, the image that I found of Mother Mary, who is one of the personifications that we can link to, she actually has 13 stars around her head. And it was so funny because that was just the first image that I actually went to, and I thought, just let me count the stars, and it's 13. So we've got cosmic tone 13, and we've got Mother Mary with a crown of 13 stars. So this is the energy that is being gifted to us through this cosmic doorway, through this gap day, this galactic activation portal day that we are experiencing at the moment. Now, here, I just wanted to share with you, because you can see the variety of Great Mother archetypes as have been personified in various religious groups and belief systems. And this is also where this link to Sarah Varkas comes in, because there's an image that I don't have here, but she also falls under the same category. But anyway, so we look at Cybele. Cybele is the personification of the Great Mother. You can see sort of Empress in the Near Eastern cultures. And what is also interesting that I hadn't realized before is how many images of the Great Mother actually include lions. And there's a link between the sacred white eland, which we are using this evening or working with this evening, and lions. So here you have the Great Mother with her 2 lion guardians. Juno in the Roman goddess framework epitomizes the Great Mother. We have Mother Mary in the biblical Christian culture, and she's often associated with the color blue. And I found this really interesting. So here's a little bit of color information for you that links in with this, is that Mother Mary is the archetypal feminine, or Great Mother is associated with blue. The color that we use to open the doorway within us to access the Great Mother is actually red, because it's the red of lifeblood. It's the red of the earth, sort of the African earth is red earth, and the African continent, and especially Southern Africa, is widely recognized being the birthplace of humanity, the birthplace of human form upon this planet, the original life forms, the original humans that walked upon this planet. And if you combine red with blue as the personification of the mother, the blue sky, you actually get magenta if you actually combine them in the right variants. And magenta is the color that we work with the Earth Star Energy Center. It's the color that I was told right in the very beginning epitomized the Earth star, which is our connection to the Earth and the planet. And magenta represents divine love brought into little things, into every little thing. And that to me is the whole embodiment of this Great Mother archetype, this combination of the colors blended in that rich and beautiful magenta enables us, when we hold her completely in balance, to walk upon the earth in the presence of those balanced polarities, transcending those balanced polarities so that we can express them and share them and actually be in the living presence of the Great Mother. In Hinduism, the Great Mother is personified as Durga. And this again, I found really interesting. First of all, she has all of these arms, which was just really interesting. But not only that, she's seen standing over a male figure here. Now, the picture is not really that big, or big enough for you to see it, standing over the male figure, which is really just an indication of how the feminine overrides. Elaine says here, breathing in purple and exhaling cobalt blue equals magenta, a technique taught by Unseens. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Elaine. See, that's one of the reasons why I think I never quite resonated with the violet flame process. I always felt that there was something more that needed to be embraced in that, and that's making a heck of a lot of sense for me. Thank you for sharing that. There's a lovely breathing exercise for the rest of you if you'd actually like to work with it. Yeah, here on this statue, she's actually seen mastering the male. Now, that's not about feminine versus, or femininity versus masculinity and the femininity overriding. It is about the fact that the feminine essence, the sacred feminine, actually sublimates the ego in service to the great feminine. And that is the way that the relationship between the masculine and the feminine works within us in its ideal balanced form. The masculine element is attributed or associated with the egoic personality self, and it's when our personality self becomes or surrenders to the guidance, the ultimate guidance through the grace of the divine feminine, that we find that peace and all that we desire in the world is able to be made manifest. But it's not just that that is really interesting in this particular depiction. It is the lion. There's a lion here in bronze, so you may not be able to see it, but this is a lion figure. And I only realized this, as I say, when I took the images out today. All of these little threads that were actually coming in. So it's about being lion-hearted. And there is an intricate link between the lion and the eland, which is the sacred animal that we've chosen as a guide to work with us today. So it's just quite fascinating. So these are some of the archetypal anthropomorphic associations with the Great Mother. So you may find the Great Mother presenting to you in the process in any one of these forms, whichever way is relevant to you. There are more, and in fact one of the others that is associated is Ceres. She's another one. She's known as associated with the grains, with crops, and with harvests, and so on, but in fact she's associated with every single season. And then Sarah Varkas's divine timing input today actually mentions Ceres and the influence of Ceres with effect from tomorrow as she actually enters Pisces. So this was just, it was just truly amazing, because I thought this is just so perfect for the energies that we're working with. So let me just read this to you quickly. Asteroid Ceres enters Pisces at 6:40 p.m. UT on the 28th of January. That's tomorrow. Ceres, goddess of grain, brings us nourishment and protection, the essence of the Great Mother. She feeds our body, mind, and spirit, nurturing us to become our fullest, most authentic selves. She honors the cycles of life, the dark barrenness of winter, emerging fragile life in spring, the glory of blooming summer, and the harvest of a fruitful autumn. Forming an angle to the moon as she enters Pisces, she is all the more deeply in tune with these cycles and rhythms, reminding us that we too have our own seasons of famine and fruitfulness, whose wisdom must be honored, not second-guessed when we think we know better how life should unfold. Living according to these cycles is one of the greatest lessons taught by the heavens. No matter how much we may want something, no matter how hard we strive for it to be, if it's not the right time for its becoming, it will not manifest, which doesn't make us helpless victims of fate. We forge our own path and shape our own life together with the creative force that brings each moment into being. This force is our ally and friend, our mentor and master. It knows what we don't, and fulfills cosmic laws beyond our ability to understand. The more accurately we read its flow and the more effectively we align ourselves with it, the better we can play our part at every stage, being patient when we must, productive when necessary, and courageous as needed. If we push for results when results are not yet due, we suffer exhaustion and frustration. If we do nothing, waiting simply for fate to deliver, we miss on the blessings woven into our life which need to be potentized by our unwavering focus. If, however, we team up with the vital force that pulses through all things, if we listen, watch, learn, wait, and act accordingly, we become that force, creating the highest, most expansive, and fulfilled expression possible in each moment. As Ceres moves through Pisces in the coming months, she invites us to taste something of the magic, which allows us to create in ways beyond our wildest dreams. She will feed us soul food and nurture our spirit, which lives outside of time and space, where neither past nor future exist. Ceres in Pisces is our spiritual mother, who parents our soul, perceiving the resplendent sacred presence we truly are. She knows how far removed from that presence we become as we live this human life with its demands and distractions, fears and frustrations. She sees our disconnect as we struggle to make life deliver as we think it should, not as it wants to. There is magic in the air right now, but it is the magic of ourselves in alignment with life, resonating with the creative spirit that brings all things into being, the magical alchemy of a cocktail of patience, wisdom, and focused action which allows creation to follow its nature and take shape as it must. This is true magic, not escapist fantasy that stands in stark contrast to the heaviness of everyday life, but the unbounded possibility which awaits when we surrender to the unifying force of creation pulsating through time and space. Fueled by our commitment to presence and our surrender to our human nature as much as our spiritual one, it invites us to gather up every passion and desire, every emotion, thought, and sensation, offering them up to the greater glory that is life fulfilled through us, not life fulfilling us as we see fit. The sacrifice required to let go a treasured dream whose time has passed is more than equally matched by the gift of freedom bestowed upon all who recognize that life knows best. Those who consult its plans alongside their own, locating common ground, mapping uncharted seas, and exploring where no spirit has gone before. Ceres walks beside us now as we step onto a new path, unpredictable in its twists and turns. It may look dark, shrouded in mists of uncertainty or the storm clouds of a burgeoning struggle. It may seem more luscious and fruitful than we ever imagined, or simply familiar, more of the same that we thought had passed. Whatever awaits, she holds us securely in a loving embrace, reminding that faith in the sacred flow will be more deeply rewarding than any effort made to harvest fruits before they've ripened in life's sun. Now, how perfect is that for this particular focus, for this energy, and moving forward with this from tomorrow. So Ceres and her influence as an embodiment of the Great Mother begins to influence us from tomorrow, and here we are tonight, initiating that communion, initiating that level of sacred contact and contract with the Divine Mother as she represents herself and works through us. So very, very interesting synchronicities and very profound. So you'll be able to listen to that again on the recording. so that you can actually take your additional insights from it. Here we have, looking at the archetype of the Great Mother, the paradox and polarity that actually exists within her. Most of us tend to immediately relate to this concept of mother, and especially the Great Mother, as the nurturer and the creator. The paradox and polarity in that is that she is also the destroyer. She is also death. And death is something that we have a primal, very primal fear of. So the energy that accompanies the Great Mother is actually a very primal energy, because she is. She's the primal goddess that births. She's the mother goddess that births all the facets of all of the additional frequencies, goddess frequencies and feminine frequencies that we can work with. But it all starts with her. She can give and she can take away, as we see in nature. She embodies mercy, compassion, love, and forgiveness. And in the shadow state, the polar form of that is fear, rejection, and neediness. So if we are working with or existing within the shadow aspect of the Great Mother, here is a wonderful opportunity to begin to identify those aspects of our lives so that we can gracefully move into, overcome those shadow aspects, reclaim our projections externally that we have in the physical life, and move into and embody with grace the gifts that Great Mother actually brings us. Because when we reclaim the shadow aspects, that's what we see, and that's what doing the archetype work actually shows us, is that it's the unclaimed shadow, the unclaimed challenges projecting out there on the world stage that are causing a lot of the grief that mankind and humanity is actually experiencing. Marina, you fell asleep. My goodness, people have said my voice is soporific. I didn't realize it was that soporific. Okay. Yeah, so that we can embody the mercy, the compassion, the love and forgiveness that Great Mother actually brings to us. And she also brings instinctual energy, that impulse, that gut feeling. She emerges within us from the womb area within our bodies, from the belly, the instinctual energy and the inner joy that arises within that space within us. And at the same time, when we experience blockages in that area, those are the shadow aspects of repression and rejection. So we may find that with mother figures in our physical life, if that is the archetypal energy that we have been embodying all of this time. So we seek to transform, we seek to balance those polarities so that we can heal the wounding. She is patience and encouragement, and at the same time also spiritual wounding and disillusionment, the challenging shadow. She is feminine strength, hence the lion that is found in all of those images. She is also punishment and scapegoating. When we see punishment and scapegoating happening out there in the world, you can virtually be guaranteed that that is the shadow, unclaimed aspects, the rejection of the Great Mother within individuals that is playing out. Ecological balance versus natural disasters. She is transformative wisdom. She is the dark energy, and dark energy is just beautiful to surrender into, because from that place all creativity arises. She is cosmic power, and again in this cosmic power we actually have the link with the lions, whether they be white lions, but the leonine lion kingdom is that cosmic power. It is also transformative wisdom. The paradox of that is that she also represents denial and suffering. So what are we carrying around with us, and how can we then transform that so that we become the vehicle, the vessel for the Great Mother to restore the sacred feminine, restore the sacred feminine to our planet. She is beauty, she is power, and she is magic. even while she is control and domination. Oh, well noticed, Hilary. There's another synchronicity. We've just had a full moon in Leo. So we have all of these wonderful, wonderful threads actually pulling together. So in the journey, as we go into the womb space and we connect with the Great Mother, we're going to allow her to show us what within us, what aspects or facets of what she brings are playing out within us, and allow her to guide us to the healing that needs to take place. Okay, so we are going to work with the white eland and the san. Now, here's a picture of the white eland. She is the largest antelope in South Africa. An amazing, amazing animal. And this creature has been depicted. This is one of the San rock paintings. And some of these paintings actually date back, I think, more than 30,000 years. So there is an incredible history associated, an association between the San people, who actually call themselves and are known as the original, the first people here in Africa. Very similar to the way in which we know the Aboriginals as the original peoples of that particular continent. The San people were the original people here in Africa, and that long-standing association between the San and the Eland. In fact, the Eland have... are you guys with me? Can you hear me? Sorry, there's just a message in the chat room. Okay. I didn't touch anything, so I don't know where the cutout actually happened. So what I wanted to share with you here was just a very, very brief background of the mythological history of the birth of life on the planet, as this, according to the San legends, the oldest human beings on the African continent. And then their connection with the eland. So you'll see how this all connects back to the Great Mother, and then the connection between the eland and the lion. So there's some really interesting stuff here. As according to San legend, and it's part of the mythology that actually runs through many, many different belief systems, that the great creator, and they refer to him as Kagan, actually first appeared as an open flower, white flower blossoming in the ocean. And Kagan was represented by a praying mantis within the center of that blooming white flower. And Kagan, as the creator god, actually was able to manifest. So they have a great, they revere the mantis. And that's just really interesting for me, because very early on in the diamond journey, I actually had a profound healing experience where guidance was actually received from some very strange looking mantid beings, and that's not something that I actually discuss and talk about with many people, but it just brought it really back to me when I was reading this mythology. So let me just get this here for you. The story. Kagan is gifted with supernatural powers. He created all things, and he appears in numerous myths where he can be either foolish or wise, tiresome or helpful. The word Kagan can be translated as mantis, and this led to the belief that the Bushmen worshipped the praying mantis. But that's only one of his manifestations, so this is the creator god. However, the Kagan or the mantis, his favorite manifestation was in the form of the eland, the animal known as the eland, that the San have an intricate relationship with. It's actually estimated that, oh, that's interesting. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. Two of the ladies in the chat room are just sharing as well that they've had a mantid connection, very strong one. And it was actually very loving and very guiding, while being exceptionally firm at the same time. It's a very, very interesting experience for me. I learned a lot. So it was a guided experience in respect of what I needed to do with working with certain energies. So the eland was actually, according to the myth of the San, his favorite manifestation. So the eland has actually formed part of the rituals. He's actually seen as a bridge between humanity, human form, and the great creator, the creator god, or gods, or form, or great mother. It's interesting that, Elaine. Thank you for that observation. The head of the eland looks like a mantis head. Um, yeah, approximately 7% of all San cave drawings actually include the eland, some of which are seen alongside lion as well. So the eland features in many rituals. The San actually perform the eland dance when they go into trance. So they connect with the spirit of the eland in order to be able to go into trance, to commune with the otherworldly realms, to commune with the Great Mother or the Great Spirit. The San girls and boys, as they go through various stages of initiation throughout their life, the girls are actually known as, they are called eland when they're going through their particular initiations, so they're related directly to the eland. The eland has also been seen as an animal of sacrifice, enabling them to live in human form, but embodying Great Spirit through eating the meat of the eland. So, and the way that they hunt as well is really quite fascinating, very much like the Aboriginals, where they believe that the spirit of the animal actually gives itself up, shares its consciousness with them, and sacrifices itself so that they may actually continue living in human form. There's not one part of the eland which actually goes to waste. The fat is actually used in various rituals. It's used in the rituals for the boys when they go through their initiations. The blood of the eland was very often used to actually do some of the rock art and the rock drawings. So every single part and aspect of their connection with the eland is held sacred. It's a vital aspect. So it's a mystical, mystical animal, and in fact, they are breeding white eland um, in South Africa at the moment. Now, one of the other things about this eland, which is quite fascinating, because it is the largest antelope. It is also the only antelope that is known to actually fend off lions as predator. They will protect their herd against being preyed on by lion. So there is a very interesting relationship that exists between them. There's almost like a mutual respect between prey and predator in that respect in the animal kingdom, between the eland lion. So they do coexist with each other. So there is a strength, and yet there is a gentleness with this animal that is able to pluck up the courage to face down even the most fearsome predator. And that is sort of part and parcel of the essence of the Great Mother. It's that primal energy. There's a fierceness that goes along with her, the fierceness of the mother that would actually protect her children at all costs, even while there is an incredible nurturing love that she brings to the party. So this goes deeper and deeper, I mean, it just is really quite fascinating. So this is one of the reasons why we're going to work with the eland as a conduit, as a being to connect with, that will serve as a bridge to help to take us into the realms of the Great Mother in the African earth. Now, one of the